when you are doing any kind of project or a question of designing a system or designing a framework, you have to first go through each of this step. Like you have to identify what you want to design, and you have to list all the devices in the system. For example, if you are making a smart lock of the door, you need to know that you need to have some sensors, then you need to have some kind of face detection if needed, or some timers. So once you identify what you want to do, you have to make a list of the devices you need to make that system. And you have to also classify each devices, the table I will show you. So classify each devices using the table. Like you can say, these are the number of input things I need. These are the number of sensors, or these are the number of actuators. So this is like how you design any system. First, you should identify what you're going to do, list all the devices, not just stopping with that. You have to also classify. Now we have to say, like, define the system behavior using the template. So this is kind of the template, and we have to also create the state diagram. So 4 and 5, we can make the 4 after creating the state diagram 5, or together. They are kind of making sense together. So how do you design? Again, we have to identify, we have to list all the devices, even classify, and also define, make the state diagram, and write and define the state behavior using this template. So you see here, using this template to describe any system behavior. So we say, like the smart door lock, when it is initially in some state, when it is powered on. In the initial state, dash, like the output device is dash dash. We will see the example. Let's see in the next slide. So this is the design framework for any system that you would do. So here, let's see. This is what I said just now. Now, what is the example that we are going to do? The smart door lock. So what's the first step? You have to identify all the devices that you need to do, and then you have to classify them. So this is something very important. Like you should know what would be your input, what would be your output. Not just the things that you need, you have to write it, like show it in the structured way. And then you have to write the system behavior using the template. So the template is this. The What's the system name? Smart door lock. We say it here. The smart door lock is in the initial state. Initial state means what states do we have for the lock? Locked and unlocked. So we say the system is in the locked state when it is powered on. So see here, when the smart door is in the locked state when it is powered on. Then we say in some state, the dash is dash. So what is it? In that state. So we set a state here, and we are going to state the same state here. Why? You see the template? It's the initial state. The system is in the locked state when it is powered on. Now we say again, in locked, the output device is output status. So what is the output device? In locked, the LED is on. What's the output? The LED. You see, that's how we write. In locked, LED, that is the output device. LED is on, and the other output, we have two outputs. And the servo motor is in this. What's the status? What status it can have? Lock and unlock. Motor means something like closes and open. So you have to follow the template. And how is this table helping you? You see, you are using here the output device and the output status. And you will know that this output is like that device is input or output from the table that you developed. I'm helping you or not? Understood? So you have to follow this template, not just like, okay, I will write whatever I feel like. You have to follow the template of writing the system behavior. So the system is in the lock state, and then in the same locked state, the two outputs, LED and server. They are supposed to be on, and the server is supposed to be locked. Now you see, if input event happens, what input event do you have? Yeah, it's based on the input that we have, push button. So if that button is pushed, so button is pushed or pressed, the system name. What's the name of the system? Smart door lock. The smart door lock goes from the current state, that's the initial state we have, from locked to unlocked, from current state to the next state. The LED is off and the server unlock position. So in next state, so that is the next state. What's the next state here we say? In the unlocked, the output device has new status. The LED is off, the other output device is unlocked. Then we say about the what happens like in the next state. Like, so after the 10 seconds, if 10 seconds pass, if next input event, so that's the second event. The first event was this button pressed. Second event, the smart door lock, that is the system, goes from the current state to the final state, from unlocked to locked. Then we say, like in final state, what's the final state? In locked, the two outputs again, LED is on, server back to lock position. So this is how you will write the first few steps. Like you identify the devices, you classify them, then you write the system behavior. Now the next step of drawing the state diagram. So this is how you do the design. Now in this PowerPoint or in this lecture, we are learning how to design your problem. So always repeating again, you have to know like what is the system you're developing, your inputs and outputs. You have to classify them. Then you have to write the system behavior using the template. And this is your final state diagram. So how do you write the state diagram? You will start with the initial state, that's the dot, and then mark it like a circle. You say this is the status, and what is the conditions in that? The two output devices, LED on, server lock. Now this is the trigger, or this happens, and this is the reason for the transition. It goes to the unlocked state, and these are the conditions of the two output devices. You cannot write the input here. You have to write about the outputs. Now again, what's the next condition for the trigger or the next state? 10 seconds pass. Yeah, the timer is expired. It goes to the lock. Or we can say it goes from this state back to the initial one. So we designed, like we know how to design any system. Now the key elements again, how many states do we have? Locked, unlocked. And the transition happens from locked to unlocked when we press the button. Unlocked to locked automatically after 10 seconds. So this is how you design. And here, the locked state, LED is on, server is in the lock position. Unlocked, what happens? LED is off, server is in unlock position. And this is the Moore machine style. So you can write all about this, your system that you are developing. And the system, this is all the behavior in like few points. But the most important part is these, like identifying the table, classifying them, writing the system behavior, and drawing the state diagram. You should know what the states are. For example, when you do a task, you should know what the states are, what are the devices, the input, output, the sensors. You should follow this pattern. And that's it. That's it for this slide. And that's it for today's class. We are leaving a bit early. Anybody has some objection? Nobody wants to leave early? Please let me know. I'm ready to teach. Yeah. Yes, yes, please.
Then use the fifth state as the ideal state, and after then goes to unlock. Timer, setting the timer of 10 seconds to go up and go back.